Seriously ill owner. The first time I took off my hat in front of my dog, he suddenly realized something. Looking at the owner who was different from before, the dog's eyes are full of shock, stunned for a long time before beginning to choke and sob sadly. Then he stood up and comforted his master with his arms, as if to tell the master that no matter what happens, it will always be there. Actually, the owner had been diagnosed with cancer months ago. I had to shave my hair to cooperate with the treatment. Afraid that the dog would be worried, he hid his illness from him. Since learning that the owner is sick, dogs become extra clingy. He's not as playful and active as he used to be. I am very careful every time I enter a room, for fear of disturbing the master's rest. The owner who was tortured by the illness was very weak. He was lying in bed looking at the sensible dog. I can only barely raise my hand to touch its little head. On this day, the owner will go to the hospital for a second round of chemotherapy. Although tell the dog before leaving that he will be back soon. But the worried dog is still guarding the door. Don't eat or drink. It waits from day to night, eyes full of worry. When he came into the family 5 years ago, still a puppy, he was lively and naughty back then. Always make a mess in the house. But the master never disliked him. Instead, use an inclusive love to care for its growth. As time goes by, he also grew up from an ignorant puppy. Wait until the master comes home. And he greeted her excitedly, wagging his tail. It seems to be telling the owner of the missing for many days. A sensible dog lies quietly in its owner's arms. It seems that he wants to comfort the master in this way. Whenever this time, the owner will gently appease it. An illness disrupted all the rhythms of life. The dog doesn't know what's wrong with its owner. It only knows. The master can no longer take it out to play like before. But it remembers. In the past, the owner would often take it for a walk on the beach. Watch the sunrise and sunset together, leaving happy footprints in the snow together. Since the owner fell ill, the dog never went out again. It quietly watches by its master's side every day. With the company of a dog, the master is struggling with the disease. It becomes less difficult. When you're in good spirits, you will also interact with it with snacks. But serious illness, the owner needs to go to the hospital regularly for chemotherapy. Every separation is very painful for the dog. After the owner left, just squatting at the door to watch the moose. Then a new round of waiting begins. But the moment when the master returned safely, it's happily carried away, rolling on the ground with excitement, as if all the waiting was worth it. While the master is sleeping, the dog is standing by, afraid that the master will leave him again. However, the peaceful and warm time did not last long. The owner's condition suddenly began to deteriorate. He needs to be admitted to the hospital for surgery. The dog looked at the suitcase full of clothes in a hurry. He knew that the master might be away for a long time this time. Finally, the dog put his toy in the box. Since the owner left, the dog waited at the door for many days and nights, but still no sign of the master. He was wandering alone in an empty room. Smell the smell of the owner on the quilt every day, to fall asleep. Fortunately, master, this surgery went well, but it will take a while to recuperate. Dogs have never been separated from their owners for so long. Long thoughts make him lose weight day by day. He screamed anxiously at home. No way. I had to let him and the owner video to ease the miss. When you see the owner who has been away for a long time appear on the screen, he stood up excitedly. Want to hug the master. But the raised hand stopped in midair. But I can't touch myself. The master who thinks about the night. He brought his favorite toy ball. It seems that he wants to give this precious gift to the owner. The dog's expectant gaze stayed on the screen. The day the owner came home from the hospital, the dog's happy tail is about to break. The owner brought the toy ball and wanted to play with it. But the dog unexpectedly chose to refuse. He knew the owner was still very weak after the surgery. The dog rests its head on its owner's lap, staring at him affectionately. I hope the owner will get better soon. After a period of recuperation, the owner's body gradually recovers. He can take the dog again like before. Out to play. The dog runs freely on the grass like the wind, enjoying the hard-won happiness of the moment. Puppies are not just pets. They are part of the family. Whether you are rich or poor, health or disease, your dog will always be by your side. Never leave. Life goes through some tough times. Love and warmth are like the light in life. Guide people out of the darkness, over the mud. The road ahead will be as wide as the sea.